Hello again everybody, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. JustFlight have just released their 146 Professional series for Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's available now direct on their website. We're going to explore some of the new functions and features available to it now it has been released to the public, and quite a shift up from our last preview stream that we did as well. Significant progress, and here we're at London City Airport with the BAE 146-300 variant, the longest of the three. And we're going to explore a number of the new features available within this add-on, including the new JustFlight EFB as well, and it's looking really good actually. Now of course I'm interested to hear what you guys think as well, so as always make sure you hit like and subscribe and share those thoughts in the comments below. The 300 version is the longest of the three, as we mentioned at the start, and in addition to that you've got the 100 variant, which we've previewed already, the 200 variant, the QCs, so you've got two different cargo versions and two different RAF versions, and a plethora of different liveries available. Now having said that, let's dive straight into the flight deck, and the first thing that you'll notice is we've got an FMS which is alive here, and also a new JustFlight electronic flight bag as well for the 146 Professional. If you do want to get your hands on this add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator, then all the links will be in the description down below, and we're going to go through a couple of scenarios, I guess, showing you how the new FMS works within the 146 Professional, including importation of a Simbrief flight plan. So we're going to explore this new EFB. Initially you'll get it started up and you'll be greeted with this entry screen. So you can fetch a OFP from Simbrief, and all you need to do is put your pilot ID into the box here, which is the number when you're planning a flight plan on Simbrief. Scroll down to optional entries and you'll see the captain name. To the right hand side of that, see your pilot ID, usually about 6 digits or so long, all numerical. Paste that in and hit continue. It will then load and it will show you your flight plan that you've generated on Simbrief. Really nice, including the departure routings, this sort of example flight to Dublin, and a diversion, an alternate of Manchester below there on the screen. It will show you your call sign too, which is really nice. Cruise altitude, distance, block fuel, zero fuel weight, and the average wind along the way as well. So really nice initial entry screen here, showing you everything you need to know. Output wise, you can see the OFP on the screen here. You can click through like so. It would be nice to see a scroll option or indeed a click and drag option come in the future. Having explored the OFP, you can hit map and it will load the aircraft in the centre, a overlay of regions where you're flying over. Quite nice. Charts, and it's linked into Navigraph, which is amazing. When you click charts, it's linked to Navigraph, so effectively you want to log in with your Navigraph API. You need to log in via the website, and then from there you can go into your charts. You can access whatever you need, the airport briefings for example, and all that sort of stuff, and you can pin them and you can change between day and night modes as you'd expect from Navigraph systems that we're all used to. In the aircrafts tab then, you've got multiple different services available to you, so you can open the doors, the stairs and the cargo doors and things. And then using your Simbrief flight plan, what you can do is figure all of the data you need for your flight. Passenger loads and all that sort of thing as well. So within here you can just configure everything you want. So passenger loads, for example, we've got 97 passengers on this service across to Dublin, so we can type 097 and make sure we hit enter. Same with the fuel as well, between the 3 tanks and cargo like so. Click on the menu tab, click interior cabin, and what that will then give you through the flight deck door is a nice detailed cabin like so on the aircraft. Really nice. And because the aircraft has got a cabin and windows and things, but also a hollow flight deck door, you guys can really find it easy to set up custom views, because all you need to do is bring the view across out through the flight deck, and you can go ahead and position down to a window, for example. It is a bit low poly, but it's good for performance, and you can find the sort of wing views you want. Having said that, if you do want to get rid of the cabin view, cabin interior, whatever reason, as I do for custom views, you can untick it like so. On the notes page, you can type anything that you think will come in handy for you throughout your journey, whether it be weather data, ATIS information, or indeed just taxi instructions and a reminder of the star, perhaps even some weights and things too. You could type in some reminders to check fuels at certain waypoints, and basically use this tab however it best suits you. And then in the settings, you can change the pilot ID to your Simbrief username login instead if you want to use that instead, and you can change the tablet brightness, change your themes across a couple of different options to suit whichever you prefer, find whichever one works best for you, and if you don't like 24-hour clock, go to the 12-hour clock too. How cool is that? So with that in mind, we turn our attention to this. Go index, data link, and some of the features in here include a weather request. So you can request weather at a number of different airports, and you can hit send and it will get the data for you. It's based on the Working Title FMS system, and it will pull the weather data in for you there, which is really cool. Same for ATIS information as well. You can hit send, it's received, and it will update like so. And if you do have any ATIS available, say for example you're connected to the VATSIM network, you'll see it appear in here. So, big question that I'm no doubt going to be asked: you can pull your flight plan from Simbrief into this aeroplane. Makes it super easy. So go to the index page like so, and then click the next page. You'll see a couple of options. You want to hit route menu, and you'll see then flight plan recall brackets SB is not illuminated, and that's because we haven't set it up yet. If you like to plan your routes using the world map, then you can recall the flight plan that you created via that into this bottom option here, but we're going to focus on flight plan recall. So click in, and again it wants your pilot ID, so whatever it is in numerical digits, type it in, and you want to turn flight plan sync on. Navigraph not linked, click it, and it will pop up on a website saying would you like to link to the Working Title CJ4 API. Click yes, and then it will go green to show that your Navigraph data, Navigraph sort of account, is linked now to JustFlight 146. Awesome. And you can change your Unix there like so as well. Meta source, again on page 2 here, you can change between MSFS or VATSIM. If you use VATSIM, then of course make sure that is the one that you choose. And again, ATIS source, you can use FAA, great if you're flying around the States because it's easy to get public ATIS, but otherwise you might need to use VATSIM instead. And data link processing time, you can choose between instant and 15 seconds delay, which is a little bit more realistic for the real world. Back to the index page then, we can go next page, route menu, flight plan recall from Simbrief, and in it goes for our little example route to Dublin. Brooklands Park has 2 options here. Obviously we want the one at the top, this should be the closest, and check the coordinates as well to make sure it is correct, and then it's going to work through adding in our flight plan. Like so. It's pulled our flight number in as well, which is really nice, and if we wish we can just click across. Before we do exec, we can make sure the route is correct and what we would expect, so we can execute that. Showing the distance of 258 nautical miles, and then of course we want to go to the departure arrivals page, and it's given us an option of runway 09er, but that's because it's pulled it in from our Simbrief flight plan. If you haven't selected anything yet, then what you can do is choose whichever is the most appropriate option, and you can load it in like so, and then add in your departure from whatever airport, in this instance London City. Back to the legs page, we can clear our way through, make sure we've got everything as required for our routing today. Now performance calculations wise, it won't give you any V-speeds. What you need to use is the thrust modulation system here, and the manual goes into a lot more detail, and bearing in mind that we've added in the fuel required for this route and the passenger load as well, it on this little card here gives us our V-speeds. So London City, for example, we might want to use flaps 24 for takeoff instead of flaps 18. Find whichever is suitable for you based upon the airport you're going to be using, and you can just quite simply click it and it will set some of the N1s and the TGTs as well for your departure. Having said that, we might want to turn on the thrust modulation system and derate the takeoff. Something nearer towards 88% N1 is a good N1 rating. 52 degrees would be ideal. So what we can do is just sync the N1s for all of the 4 engines. Make sure the thrust modulation system can assist us with this during takeoff. It's a complex aircraft, but with all of the route input here, what you want to do is make sure that you've got RNAV selected in the HSI so that it will follow your FMS. And there we have it. Nice quick run through of some of the new features with the JustFlight BA146 now available in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've covered a lot of the other features throughout some of our previews, pre-release of course, so do check those out and keep an eye on the channel for some future live streams as we delve further into this wonderful add-on for MSFS. I hope you found it useful. If you've got any tips, tricks yourself, share them in the comments below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. I hope to see you in a live stream in the near future. Take care. Thanks for watching.